Welcome, everyone, to this guided meditation to process trauma fast. I love this meditation because it gives you a chance to turn some of the worst parts in your life into some of your biggest strengths. And that's what healing really does. Maybe you don't think you're ready for this, but part of you did, otherwise, you wouldn't have clicked on this. So just know that your soul is ready. Even if you're just sick of feeling like crap, you're in the right spot. All right, I'm going to invite you to get somewhere comfortable, a place where you can relax and just settle in. And in your own time, just allow your eyelids to close, become heavy. Allow your jaw to relax. Allow your tongue to float freely in your mouth. Drop your shoulders and just settle in. You may feel some tension in your body. That's some of this stuff coming to the surface and ready to be processed, and that's okay too. In a moment, we're going to start with some intentions. Before that, though, I'm just going to invite you to start with some nice, slow, deep breaths to really pull yourself into your body. Good. Now we're going to start with that intention. So you can just repeat after me. I intend to release everything that's holding me back from my highest timeline. I intend to release everything that's holding me back from my highest timeline. Good. And just continue with those deep breaths. So before we begin, just know that the past doesn't exist. It only exists in our mind. So we're not in essence changing the past, but in fact changing our relationship to the past. And that can be very powerful in setting you free to be the version of you that you want to be. Quite often people tell me they have a hard time letting go. But in this space, it's just a very logical step. One thing I ask myself, is this worth my happiness? Is this worth it for me to hang on to this? Maybe the answer is yes. Quite often the answer is no. And from there, yes, you can release it. You get to choose. All right, so now just go ahead and just take a nice big deep breath. And I want you to just go back to that time in your mind of that trauma you want to release. If it's a reoccurring theme, it really doesn't matter what you pick, because essentially we're healing that pattern. So you can just pick any time, or you may even be bringing all of them up right now. That's okay too. I know this is uncomfortable, but that means you're on the right track. God, I want you to feel the feels, feel the emotions. Maybe you're feeling like this tightness in your chest, pit in your stomach. Maybe your whole body's just frozen. Perfect. You're right where you need to be. I want you to really focus on that feeling. Focus on the emotions that are coming up. Maybe it's fear, maybe it's anger, maybe it's sadness. And just allow those feelings to bubble up from all the parts of your body, all the depths of your mind. The deeper you can get, the better. The more connected to this, the better. You're doing great. We're almost there. I want you to just breathe in all those feelings. You don't have to put them into words. Just breathe that in. Good. And you can even feel where that energy may be affecting your body. Also become aware of any thoughts, any beliefs, any things that were kind of solidified in that experience. Maybe there was trust issues. Maybe it was how you viewed men. Maybe it was even stories you told yourself about yourself. Become aware of any underlying things, thoughts, beliefs, patterns, limitations that are tied to this. Good job, good job. And I want you to now just take a nice big deep breath, and I want you to shift out of that body. Shift out of that body and see them from the outside. What do you notice about this younger version of you? What do you notice about their energy? What do you notice when you look into their eyes? How is this impacting their soul? And I want you open up to communicating with them, mind to mind, heart to heart. Letting them know that you are them from the future, that you came back to set them free, that they're safe, that they're protected, that they're not in that situation anymore. Literally, none of that is happening in this moment now. God, and I want you to comfort them, console them in the way that you wish someone else would have. If it's a pretty nasty scene, you can even take them from that environment. Leave and go somewhere beautiful, a place where you can relax, maybe a place in nature. A place where you can let go of any of that tension, that worry, that stress, any of the heaviness from that space. And I want you to thank them for being strong, being brave, courageous. They probably don't feel like it at that time. Thanking them for what they went through. And letting them know that they're not there anymore. Good. Continue sharing, mind to mind. Anything else that you want them to know so that they can move forward with their life. Maybe they're not in that relationship anymore. Maybe their life is happy now. I don't know. Anything that you want to tell them to help them to move on, to get unstuck from that past perception. Good. And I want you to share your healing energy with them. Maybe placing hands on their head, on their heart, wherever that energy is stored. Allowing that energy, that light to come out of your hands and to heal those parts that were impacted. Good. And I want you now to breathe back any parts that were lost. Anything that was lost by going through that experience. Maybe your strength, your confidence, your joy, your happiness, your innocence. Your trust. Breathe that all back in. And allowing any walls that have been built up to keep people away, to keep yourself closed off, allowing those to dissolve and melt away, to fade away. Yeah, maybe you needed those back then, but you don't need those at this point in your life now. Your soul knows how to survive. Now it's time to start living. And as you're doing this, as you're breathing this back into your body, feeling more whole, more complete, more your true self with each deep breath, I want you to become aware of what you learned from that experience. What did you learn from that experience? What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about relationships? What did you learn that made you the person you are today? How did that situation help you to become the person you are today? Maybe it was even something as simple as showing you how strong you were. Maybe it was teaching you how to have compassion for other people who have gone through something similar. Maybe it even just taught you what you didn't want or what you didn't want to become. That could also be. What did you learn from that situation? How are you going to be using that experience to your advantage now? How are you going to use that experience to your advantage? Like I said, some of the worst parts of our lives can become our biggest strengths once we see them as that. Good. And from this space, if you're ready, feeling that forgiveness for the other person, thanking them for this lesson, in fact. I often find that some of the souls closest to us give us the toughest lessons. Also, feeling that forgiveness for yourself. Forgiveness doesn't make it right. It just means I'm not going to let this have power over me in the way that it did. Good. And breathing back in that power, that strength, that confidence. Breathing this back into the heart and expanding it out, almost like a bubble around you. Beautiful. Good. And let this anchor in, allowing this to soak into all the parts of your body so that everything is on the same page. Feeling renewed, revived, invigorated, and alive again. I'd like to thank you for joining me on this. You can continue to let this play. I'm going to let this go a couple extra minutes. For you to close up any loose ends, fill in any gaps, or even just letting this anchor in. This is more of your natural state. This is more of who you are, more of your soul's essence. And remember, you can come back to this anytime you want. Anytime you want to move through something. If it was something really traumatic that you worked through today, you may have to come back and process other aspects of it to fully release it and fully heal. Each time you do this, you find it gets even easier and easier and easier. You can even set the intention to continue processing this when you sleep at night over the next coming days. I'd like to thank you for joining me in this guided process. I would love to hear your experiences, so feel free to share those in the comments below. Thank you again for being here, and we will see you on the next video.